All right, so this is an exercise that we're going to work on with Miss Malibu, and it's something that we can jump right into, and is actually the most important thing that we go over. So the only thing that we ever say verbally during this exercise is good girl, our pup's name. Good, so she hit the mat, perfect. She went into an SIT there. Sorry, I was having a tough time opening my bag of treats here. So what we're looking for from her is to give her a treat every time she goes into a more relaxed body position. So typically step one is just having Malibu understand that the mat is where the good stuff happens. Good girl. And then we're looking for her to go into an SIT, and then go into a DOWN. But she immediately went into a DOWN, which is great. Perfect. Very good. With those hips cocked out to the side, that's also her being even more relaxed. So right now she's really perfect. Super engaged with the treats. And so what I'm looking for, good, from her, is to engage with the mat and to start resting her chin down. Good. So even that slight graze there, I'm going to give her a treat for that. And really the end result is that you break out the mat. What it looks like is you break out the mat. Good. Very good. And they come on over, plop on down, and then rest their chin down, and then perfect. Hang out. And you can use this anytime that your dog starts to get anxious. And honestly, this is beautiful. This is exactly what we're looking for. There's a little bit of perfect, a little bit of noise there in the other room, and that's actually something that I wanted to take mention of. That anytime that there's something that would disturb your dog, let's say a car horn or kid running in the other room, anything that would distract your pup, and you hear it and your pup's able to really just stay in a DOWN, even if your dog pops up but is able to stay down and maybe in a sit, that's fine. Give him a treat for hanging out and relaxing. So that's really what the end result looks like, is good. Your puppy is able to ideally keep their head down, stay completely relaxed, and crazy stuff is going on around them, and it's sending a trigger to their brain that everything's okay because their body's perfect. Their bodies are relaxed. And their consciousness basically just works in the inverse of the way that ours does, which is we see something good. Actually, it's heard a dog bark outside. I see something and immediately think through how I'm going to respond, and then I'll go into fight or flight. My muscles will tense up. I'll start shaking or whatever my stress response is. And dogs will see something, immediately feel it in their muscles, and then it'll send a trigger to their brain saying, now I need to go into fight or flight. So they might start shaking, bark, reach out, whatever their stress response is. Perfect. So if they're able to stay in a completely relaxed state, then whatever it is that's going on around them is going to be perceived as A-okay. And really the dramatic results, perfect, come from doing this day after day, even like a couple minutes a day. If that's all the time you have for it, that's perfect. Just try to squeeze this one in. And when we're initially working on it, it's great to do it in as easy a setting as you can, to where your pup has the greatest chance, perfect, to be successful. And then you're going to want to start to utilize this in more difficult scenarios. This is one other thing to take mention of. I like to sit cross-legged, and I don't want Miss Malibu to be incredibly engaged with the treats. And initially when I sat down, good girl, she was real excited about the treats, and I had to just shove my hand here into my lap so that she could realize that's not how she's going to get the treats, because initially they're just trying to figure out perfect how it is that they're able to get the treats and they'll start working through. And beautiful. Good job, sweetie. And lastly, I really want to harp on the fact that this exercise is completely nonverbal. I never say anything. It is purely giving Malibu treats as she's going into more and more relaxed body positions. I'm never going to command her to do anything, which is actually what makes it such an empowering exercise for her, because she has to 100% work through this on her own accord, without my intervening and just working her through it verbally or commanding her to do all the various positions. So she's doing so well right now. I'm actually just letting her hang out, and we're just waiting for her chin to rest on the ground. And when you're working with her throughout the week, initially do treat her when she comes over to the mat, when she gives you an SIT, and when she gives you a DOWN, and then when she's resting her chin down. But after a few days of doing that, start to treat her when she goes through that cycle, and then wait for her to hold her chin down for at least a couple seconds. That's really where we want to get to. She's doing so well that I feel like you can kind of push her a little bit further, a little bit faster, because she's a super smart girl. And I never just want to continue to treat a dog for what I consider easy things for them. Basically, that's the key in training. You're constantly trying to push your dog, but give them something that they can be successful with. So right now, I mean, we've got her at about 3 seconds of her holding her chin down is about as far as she can take it, and that's great. So in this session, I'm really not going to try to stretch it further than that. I'll let her rest her chin down for a few seconds, then she gets a treat. Anyway, she's doing very, very, very good. So continue to work on this exercise in easy scenarios, and then working it in more difficult situations as time continues on. So you got a very sharp girl on your hands.